High above the mountain city of Baguio stands an abandoned building that locals still avoid after dark. Visitors claim to hear footsteps echoing through empty hallways and whispers coming from rooms that have been empty for decades. Some say they've seen figures standing in broken windows. But the most unsettling part of the Diplomat Hotel isn't the ghost stories, it's the history that created them. To understand why this building carries such a chilling reputation, we have to travel to the northern Philippines, to a mountain city known for its cool climate and mist-covered hills. Baguio sits nearly 5,000 feet above sea level and has long been considered the summer capital of the country. During the early 20th century, government officials and travelers visited the city to escape the tropical heat of the lowlands. Pine trees covered the hills, the air was cool and fresh, and the peaceful atmosphere made the region feel far removed from the chaos of the outside world. On one of those hills, overlooking the city, stood a large stone building that was once meant to be a place of quiet reflection. The building began its life in the early 1900s when members of the Dominican order decided to construct a retreat house on Dominican Hill. Construction began around 1913 and was overseen by Father Roque Ruano, a Dominican priest known for his architectural work. By 1915, the structure was complete. The building served as a religious retreat where priests and nuns could rest, pray, and escape the pressures of everyday life. Surrounded by pine trees and overlooking the valley below, the retreat house offered peace and solitude. For many years, it fulfilled that role perfectly, but history has a way of transforming even the quietest places. In the early 1940s, World War II spread across Southeast Asia. The Philippines, which was then closely tied to the United States, became a major battleground during the conflict. Japanese forces invaded the islands in 1942, and many cities quickly fell under occupation. Baguio, with its strategic mountain location, became an important military center. As the war intensified, civilians in the area began searching for places to hide from the violence. The Dominican retreat house on the hill appeared to be one of the safest locations available, and many refugees gathered there, hoping the remote hilltop would offer protection. But the war eventually reached Dominican Hill as well. Japanese troops moved into Baguio and seized the retreat house, turning the peaceful religious compound into a military garrison. According to historical accounts and survivor testimonies, the building was used to detain prisoners and interrogate suspected resistance fighters. The Japanese military police, known as the Kempe Tai, were feared throughout occupied territories for their harsh interrogation methods. Prisoners were brought to the building for questioning, and some accounts suggest that executions took place on the surrounding grounds. Although precise records are incomplete, historians agree the site witnessed significant wartime suffering. The war continued until 1945, when Allied forces began their campaign to liberate the Philippines. American and Filipino troops launched major operations against Japanese positions across the islands. Baguio, as a key military location, became a target of bombing raids. During these attacks, the building on Dominican Hill was damaged, particularly on one side of the structure. By the time the war ended, the once peaceful retreat house had been heavily scarred by conflict. The hilltop sanctuary had become a reminder of the violence that occurred during the occupation. After the war, the Dominican order returned to the property and began repairing the damaged building. Reconstruction took place between 1945 and 1947, restoring much of the structure. For a period of time, the building once again served its original purpose as a religious retreat. Visitors returned, and the hilltop atmosphere regained some of its calm atmosphere. Yet the building's history had already taken a dark turn, and decades later it would enter another unexpected chapter. In 1973, the property was purchased by a private group and converted into a commercial hotel. The new establishment was called the Diplomat Hotel. With more than 30 guest rooms and sweeping views of the surrounding mountains, the hotel seemed like a promising destination for tourists visiting Baguio. At the time, the city was already popular among travelers looking to escape the heat of the lowlands. The cool climate and scenic landscape made it an attractive vacation spot. But the hotel's reputation soon became linked to an unusual figure. The hotel was operated by Antonio Agapito Aguapawa, a Filipino faith healer who claimed to perform what he described as psychic surgery. According to his supporters, he could remove illnesses from patients with his hands without making surgical incisions. Skeptics, however, believe the procedures were elaborate illusions. Despite the controversy, Aguapawa attracted clients from around the world, including visitors from the United States and Europe. His fame brought attention to the hotel, and for several years the Diplomat Hotel remained in operation. But during the hotel's operation, strange stories began to circulate among staff and guests. Some employees reported hearing footsteps late at night when the hallways were empty. Guests claimed they heard voices or unexplained noises from parts of the building that were supposed to be vacant. These reports were often dismissed as rumors or misunderstandings. Old buildings can produce unusual sounds, especially when wind moves through large corridors and wooden structures shift with temperature changes. Then, in 1987, the situation changed dramatically. Tony Aguapawa died after suffering serious health complications. Without his owner and central figure, the Diplomat Hotel quickly closed. The once busy building was abandoned almost overnight. Furniture was removed, windows were broken, and the structure gradually began to deteriorate. Over time, the empty hotel became a destination for curious visitors and urban explorers. It was during this period of abandonment that the haunting legends truly exploded. Visitors claimed they heard whispers in the corridors and footsteps on the staircases. Some said they saw shadowy figures standing in the windows or moving through the hallways. One of the most widely repeated legends described the spirit of a headless nun wandering the building. Another story suggested that the ghosts of Japanese soldiers could still be seen near the staircases. Photographs taken inside the building sometimes appeared to show strange shapes or silhouettes in the background. Whether these stories represent genuine experiences or simply the power of imagination remains unclear. Psychologists often point out that when people enter a place already believed to be haunted, their expectations can influence what they perceive. Shadows, wind, and echoes can easily be interpreted as something supernatural when the mind is primed to expect it. At the same time, many locals believe that places connected to tragic history might carry emotional memories that linger long after events have ended. In 2005, the government of Baguio acquired the abandoned property and began transforming the area into what is now known as Heritage Hill and Nature Park. The site was later recognized as an important historical location, acknowledging the complex events that had taken place there over the past century. Today, visitors can walk around the grounds during the daytime and view the remains of the old building. Yet, despite these efforts, the reputation of the Diplomat Hotel has never fully disappeared. Even today, many locals still hesitate to visit the ruins after sunset. The empty windows overlook the city below, and the mountain fog often drifts through the abandoned halls. Perhaps the strange experiences reported by visitors are simply the result of imagination and atmosphere. Or perhaps the building's long history has left an impression that people can still feel when they step inside. After all, the Diplomat Hotel has witnessed more than a century of events: peaceful retreats, wartime violence, spiritual healing, and eventual abandonment. Today, the ruins remain silent on Dominican Hill, watching over the city of Baguio. Tourists photograph the dramatic skyline during the day, and the park offers beautiful views of the surrounding mountains. But once night falls, the atmosphere changes. The wind moves through the empty corridors, and the shadows inside the building deepen. Maybe the ghost stories are only legends created by imagination, or perhaps they are reminders of the real events that unfolded there decades ago. Because sometimes the most mysterious places are not haunted by spirits, they are haunted by history. If you enjoy exploring real mysteries, strange historical stories, and unexplained events from around the world, make sure to like the video and subscribe. New episodes investigate true crime cases, forgotten historical mysteries, and paranormal legends across Asia and beyond. And the next story we uncover may be even more mysterious than the haunted halls of the Diplomat Hotel.